Good morning or good afternoon, depending on what time of day you're listening to this seminar, and thank you very much for attending. This seminar aims to help you find the franchise that's going to give you the strongest chance of success. I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Kate Dilworth, and I am the Franchise Recruitment Manager at Right at Home UK. Due to the amazing powers of technology and this fantastic virtual franchise exhibition, I am in two places at once at the moment, presenting the seminar to you and also manning our Right at Home stand, where we're hoping to meet some fantastic new prospective franchisees. My job role has been for the last few years to help people evaluate our franchise so that they can work out, is it the right business for them? And to an extent also so that we can evaluate whether they're right for our business, because at Right at Home we very much follow a two-way evaluation process. Just to give you a bit of context to the business, Right at Home is a management franchise that delivers very high quality care and companionship services that support people to live independently in their own homes. But I'm not going to talk to you specifically about Right at Home. We're going to talk in very general terms about some best practice to help you complete thorough due diligence and help you identify the best business opportunity out there for you. After all, coming into a franchise is a really enormous commitment. It's a legally binding partnership, a big investment of time and money from your perspective. So it's obviously really important that you get that right. And there are an awful lot of franchise opportunities out there. You know, you're attending a franchise exhibition today, so hopefully you therefore understand already some of the benefits that franchising can offer for prospective business owners. And hopefully you've also given some thought to whether you'd be well suited to working within a franchise system and following a proven franchise model. But there are literally hundreds of franchises available in the UK market, and trying to figure out which one could offer you the best chance of success can be quite a daunting task. I was always amazed at franchise exhibitions and when I look across some of the press by the huge range of opportunities that are available. Anything from a part-time lifestyle franchise that might cost about £5,000 to invest into, right up to white-collar management models that might require an overall investment of over £200,000. So there is something for, if not maybe for everybody. There are a lot of different business models out there, and this seminar is aimed at helping you to whittle those down until you find both the sector and the brand that you're most suited to. So the first stage of research is really to get out and explore everything that's out there. I would always recommend starting off by considering all options, because one of the joys of franchising is that when you're following a proven model and you have the support of an established franchisor behind you, you can move into a completely new sector with much greater confidence than you would if you were setting up on your own. Very few Right at Home franchisees, for example, had previous care sector experience before they came into our business. So this is your chance to open up new opportunities, pursue your dreams, and see what's out there that might really motivate and inspire you. So I'd ask you to undertake this initial stage of research by creating a list of all the different sectors that capture your interest for one reason or another. Where do you start looking? Well, here at the exhibition is a fantastic starting point, obviously. There are a lot of different franchisors for you to go and visit and talk to here today. You can also look on franchise directory websites that will give you an idea of what's available and point you to towards more information. The next stage of research is to give some thought to what makes you happy. It sounds straightforward, but you will always have a greater chance of success if you enjoy what it is that you're doing. You know, and we all want to get out of bed in the morning and feel like we're not actually going to work, but we're doing something that we really enjoy. This is very apparent in the care sector, where people are attracted to the opportunity to make a real difference to their clients' lives. It also helps if people really enjoy developing other people from a staffing point of view in our business, because they're going to be focused on building teams and creating career pathways. So in essence, they need to be people in the care sector, to be motivated by a genuine desire to help others. So have a look at the list of sectors that you've made so far and note what it was particularly that attracted you to it. Because understanding what you want from a business will definitely help you to focus your attention in the right direction. And you might find what you're looking for in a sector that you've never previously stopped to think about at all. Understanding the franchise owner's role is really important to know what you would be doing day to day as the owner of a business in this sector. You should bear in mind that all franchisors do have an understanding of their ideal franchisee and their skills and their attributes. So when you're looking at different opportunities, you should try to evaluate how you measure up against what the franchisor is looking for. If it's not immediately apparent, then ask some of the franchisors what the key roles and responsibilities are for their franchisees, and do this in each of the type of business that interests you. In most businesses, you'll need to keep a lot of different plates spinning, particularly so in the early days. So you do need to be prepared to move out of your comfort zone, and to whether it's in finance or sales or whatever particular aspect of the business model might be new and daunting to you. You will need to give a go to all aspects of the business model, give them your very best effort. But also, let's be realistic about where your strengths lie as well, and really focus on those areas. So, for example, with the Right at Home franchise, you don't need care sector experience, but we do need franchisees to be comfortable networking and to have really good interpersonal skills, because staff recruitment and retention is key to building the business. And if you can't excel in those areas, then you are going to struggle to grow a successful business. So evaluate this and be honest with yourself. You can only expect to replicate the success of a system if you are prepared to follow it to the letter. So after carrying out these first 3 steps, I would hope that you would be able to identify which sectors you want to look into that interest you and suit your skills and personality. And it's then time to dive a little deeper into each of their different business models. At this point, we would definitely recommend completing the British Franchise Association Prospective Franchisee Certificate. This is a free e-learning course that gives you great grounding for your due diligence. You can find and access this course on the BFA website, which is thebfa.org. This will, of course, this stage of your research is going to involve talking to franchisors. But before you get too drawn into the depth of the business model, there are a couple of sense checks that you should complete first. The first of these is to make sure that you're concentrating on business models that are financially viable. And there are 2 aspects of this to consider. First is the required investment. Is it affordable to you? You might be able to access a loan from a bank or a specialist lender, but you're always going to need to put in a percentage of the investment yourself. So you must have a clear idea of the costs. There's going to be an initial fee to buy into the franchise, plus potentially other costs that may relate to equipment or marketing that might be specific to the brand or common to that sector. You should look at what support the franchisor offers with raising finance, writing a business plan, and generally getting to the point where you can pull together the initial investment. The second factor to look at is whether this franchise would generate the income that you need to live and keep the roof over your head and support any dependents that are under that roof. You will need to know your monthly overheads, obviously, to be able to calculate how much money you're going to need to take out of the business. And then you're going to have to look at how that fits into the P&L forecast. In the early days, before the business is profitable, your owner's draw is going to need to be factored into the working capital, so that may form part of your overall investment. You should study the profit and loss forecast that's provided by the franchisor and ask them how they've arrived at these figures as well, because sales of performance figures, of course, can never be guaranteed, but ideally you want to be working from a conservative set of projections that are based on actual sales figures from the franchise network. When you do talk to franchisees, you should then ask them how their figures fit against these projections and how they've performed against the forecast. And I think it's really sensible to always look at a worst case scenario as well as what the high achievers within the network are achieving. And don't forget that help is available to you, independent help from specialist finance brokers who operate specifically within the franchise sector. And I'm sure if you have a look around at the advice areas and information areas within the exhibition today, you will find some fantastic information for you to help there. Step 5 in our 10 steps to finding the right franchise is to really start to focus on the different brands that are operating within a sector. Even if one brand particularly stands out to you, it's really important that you do research the competition so that you understand the broader context of the market that they operate in. So for each business within the sector, you should look at how long they've been trading, how they've grown. And I would say to be a little bit cautious of very rapid growth in some areas, because I mean, for us at Right at Home, it's very much about quality of franchisees rather than the quantity that we recruit. So you need to make sure that the franchisor is going to be able to support you and support you well, even if they're launching multiple businesses at once. So have a look at their growth in context to the support team that they have at their national office. And then have a think about what type of network you want to be part of. You know, is peer support very important to you? Do you want the security of knowing that the model has been proven many, many times over? In which case you'd expect to find evidence that the franchise or support operation is a really well-oiled machine. Or would you perhaps relish the chance to join a company that's breaking into the marketplace, where you can work with them to help adapt their system as they replicate it and scale it up across multiple locations? And in this kind of scenario, you might be able to play quite a significant role in helping the franchisor to develop and build their brand. So it really is, this is very personal as to where you're going to feel most comfortable and what kind of business is going to be the right network for you. Within this exercise, you should also look to identify some of the different key performance indicators for the sector in question and to rate the businesses against those. So, for example, in the care sector, you'd want to look not only at our client reviews and staff reviews, but also at our compliance ratings, because that's a very important aspect of the business and an important aspect of the support that the franchisor can offer as well. It's also good practice to check whether they're members of the British Franchise Association, because the BFA is an organisation that exists to promote self-regulation within franchising. So membership is a good indicator that that brand is an ethical franchisor who will work hard to support their franchisees. Next, stop and check available territory areas. Think about where you want your business to be based, where they are able to offer you. Do the demographics of this area suit the business model? And is it an area that you're going to be happy to be based in for the next however many years? For Right at Home particularly, ours is very community focused. So we don't want people to be travelling an hour and a half to their territory, because they're going to have to be back and forth on a fairly regular basis and doing a lot of work there, potentially, you know, community involvement and engagement that might spill into weekends and evenings occasionally. So for us, it definitely helps for the franchise owner to be local to their territory area. And you should have a think with your family and loved ones about, you know, how important it is to you to be working close to home. Think about your overall work-life balance, the benefits of reduced travel. You know, for a lot of people, this is part of the reason they want to run their own business, is so that they can have that flexibility, spend more time with their family as the business becomes established. And it's also helpful when you're building a business and going out and marketing, to be able to utilize your local connections and local knowledge to help build the business as well. So a few important considerations around territory. So really now you want to be getting to holding further meetings with your the franchises that are starting to stand out within the sectors of interest. And it's really good practice to complete a SWOT analysis, just to make sure that you are keeping on track and not letting occasionally your heart rule your head, perhaps. So looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats to each business model. And from there, really you want to be looking to try and identify your top 3 franchises from where you can have a good picture of the strengths of the brand, you can assess its suitability for you, and you can enter into the final stage of research for each business model. So if you've not already done so by this stage, make sure you visit the franchisor. It's really important for you to see their office, meet their setup, meet the people involved, and to gain a feel for how they run their business and to start to experience the culture within the business as well and within the wider network. You should definitely talk to and ideally visit some trading franchisees, and it's great if you can ask to meet specific individuals. You might need some guidance from the franchisor, but you know, avoid or take a bit of a warning note if you feel that that the franchisor is being very selective in who they're prepared for you to talk to. We personally advocate the franchisees giving prospective franchisors a very open and honest assessment of their experiences so far, the highs, the lows, the good, the bad and the ugly, because we don't want people coming into this business with rose tinted glasses. We want them to have a very realistic expectation. So you want to make sure, like I said, you understand that it's not always going to be a bed of roses. There's going to be a lot of hard work, and it's really important that you do understand what the challenges are in the business model and how the franchisees have overcome those and how they've been supported by the franchisor as well. My next piece of key advice is to really then look at the businesses from the service provider or the client's perspective. So it's great exercise to do a bit of mystery shopping here. Gather contact details for all of the companies that are operating in this sector in the area that you're looking at, and carry out the mystery shopping exercise. Get on the phone with a scenario that will help you understand the level of customer service and the pricing, and generally help you to understand who the key competitors are in this market, and whether there are also any obvious gaps in the market as well. So some basic competitor analysis can show you an awful lot about the opportunity that's being presented to you. I would then advise revisiting your financial forecast and inputting some of the information that you've learned about whether rent prices might be a factor in your finances, and the charges, whether the billing rates and costings that the franchisor have given you, whether they align with the local market and the research that you've done. So you can revisit the financial viability and perhaps tailor those P&L forecasts to a more specific forecast for your potentially for your future business plan. I'd also think definitely in this day, at the current moment, you need to stop and ask about what impact COVID has had on the businesses in the area. How much has it affected their ability to trade, and to what extent have they recovered? Care obviously has been a particularly resilient model through service. It's a basic need. A lot of businesses have been very significantly affected, but so the looking towards the future and potential resurgences of something similar to pandemics, and also the impact of technology as well, and how that may affect the business model. So really you're looking at how future-proof this business model is, and is it going to offer you longevity? And then I'd go on from there to have a look and make sure you're comfortable with the legal agreements that the franchise is offering. This is a really important aspect of your research, because franchise agreements are legally binding documents. By signing a franchise agreement, you are committing to pay the franchisor their fees, usually an initial fee and an ongoing management service fee, and you're making that commitment for the term of the franchisor agreement, or until which point you sell your business, whichever happens first. It's important to understand that the franchisor will invest upfront in training you and supporting your business startup, in the expectation that you will repay that investment through years of profitable trading, from which they take their management service fee. And as a percentage of revenue in most businesses, the management service fee will increase as the business grows. If you break your contract with the franchisor early, you are going to be liable for unpaid future fees. And a franchisor could, if they wanted to, take you to court for that, to pursue those payments. So really important that you do your research thoroughly before signing anything. The franchise agreement will also outline what you can expect from your franchisor. Yes, it's primarily set up to protect the franchisor's brand and their investment in you, but it also holds the franchisor accountable for what they have committed to give to their franchisee. So Right at Home, our franchise agreement is non-negotiable, and we see that very much as a positive, because everyone can be assured that they're partnering with us on exactly the same terms as their fellow franchisees. But we do ask everybody to have it professionally reviewed by a BFA affiliated solicitor who specialises in franchising, so that they're very clear on what they're signing up to, because You don't want to be turning around at some point in the future and saying, oh, I didn't realise I'd committed to that, because it's too late by then. So if you use the BFA affiliated solicitor, they obviously are very familiar with franchising. They understand what's usually appearing in a franchise agreement. They'll be able to identify any obvious omissions or any questionable clauses in there, be able to go and seek clarification from the franchisor. And my final point is really just to follow your gut instinct and to look back over the research that you've done and the brands that you've brand hopefully at this point that is standing out for you as the best one for your future success, best chance of future success. And really just go and review, you know, do you trust this franchisor is going to support you well? Is there very clear evidence that their model works? And is there long-term potential in the marketplace? You know, there's always going to be a level of risk that comes with investing your money into somebody else's business model. But by carrying out very careful and thorough research, you really can minimize those risks and give yourself a much greater chance of success. And if you find that a business model does play to, you know, if you can find the business model that most plays to your strengths and it's been proven to work successfully for others, then you have to ask yourself, why should it not work for you if you give it your all and follow the business model closely? You know, at this point, success really does lie in your hands, and it'll be determined by the drive and the hard work that you put in to your new business. And it will be hard work, no bones about that. The last 10 years have certainly given me plenty of evidence in that direction. But throughout that time, I've seen more than 60 right-at-home franchise owners go on to achieve really fantastic results and take huge pride in their businesses. So I hope that there's been some useful advice in this seminar for you. I wish you the very best of luck. I would hope that if the care sector is amongst the sectors that interest you, that perhaps you will come and see us on the Right at Home stand over the course of the exhibition. Look very much forward to giving you some further information. And I would thank you for your time and hope that you enjoy the rest of the exhibition.